Welcome back to The Explainer. We're stepping into something completely different today. Actually, do me a favor. Maybe dim your screen just a bit, lean in, and just prepare yourself. We're taking a journey into a really dark, incredibly isolated place. Today, we're unpacking a chilling narrative about cruelty, vengeance, and the absolutely inescapable weight of karma. Want to eat mangoes? I won't even let you have the pits. I mean, just listen to the sheer malice in those words. That's not just a passing threat, right? It's a promise of absolute deprivation. It's this eerie warning echoing right out of the dark. And it perfectly sets the stage for a story where greed becomes, well, a literal trap. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The Haunted Orchard, a dark mango estate. So the source material drops us right into this vast moonlit mango estate owned by a wildly powerful sahukar. Imagine it, acres upon acres of tall trees lined up in the pitch black. The branches are just heavy with sweet fruit, casting these long, terrifying shadows. But in the dead of night, it twists into something completely unnatural. The text builds incredible tension here by showing us a clearer chronological escalation of these supernatural attacks. It wasn't just a sudden one-off thing. First, it started with an older guard who reported having his throat choked by this invisible force pressing down on his chest. Then we meet Haria. Now, Haria chases a shadow through the crunching dry leaves, only to be violently shoved toward a deep black well. And as this haunting really peaks, a brand new guard is lured deep into the trees and literally thrown into that very same well. So the orchard itself is actively hunting its protectors. Now, the psychological terror here is brilliantly crafted through these wild sensory contradictions. Picture this. A guard hears frantic footsteps darting left, right, left, and then a massive heavy splash. It's the unmistakable sound of a body plunging into a deep well. But when he shines his flashlight down into the abyss, the dark black water is perfectly still, not even a single ripple. The stark contrast, between that terrifying auditory illusion and the unsettling visual reality, it really breaks the mind before any physical harm is even done. Section 2. The Cruel Sahukar, a monster in the making. So to really understand this haunting, we've got to understand the monster creating the victims. When you read the source material, the absolute arrogance and total lack of human empathy this guy possesses is just genuinely disgusting. He's a man who clearly values his property over human life. When he's told about these terrifying events driving all his guards away, the Sahukar just scoffs. He literally barks at his own wife, who, by the way, is begging him to bring in a priest to cleanse the orchard, saying, "I don't fear ghosts or witches. I keep a witch like you tied up at home." I mean, wow. This completely dismissive attitude towards the supernatural, combined with the casual verbal abuse of his own wife, paints a super vivid picture of his vile, impenetrable ego. He really believes he's untouchable. And this brilliantly illustrates his specific acts of cruelty out in the blistering, sweltering afternoon heat. The text describes this scorching day. The sun is practically burning the earth. A stray dog manages to slip under a barbed wire fence, literally just to eat a fallen, rotting mango off the ground. Without even a second thought, the Sahukar raises his rifle and shoots the dog dead. And as the poor animal is writhing in agony, the Sahukar just throws his head back and laughs. He's mocking the terrified village women who just witnessed the whole thing. Among them is a poor mother named Lajwanti. She watches this horrific scene in silenced trauma, just way too intimidated to even speak. But the thing is, Lajwanti doesn't seek human justice. The source reveals a really crucial foreshadowing detail here. In the quiet of her tiny hut, grief-stricken, she folds her hands and prays to an image of Lord Shiva. Specifically, she's praying to the depiction of Shiva consuming poison. She's leaving ultimate retribution completely in the hands of the divine, a deity known for swallowing toxicity to protect the world. Keep that poison motif in mind, okay? Because it is about to become very, very important. Section 3. Shadows in the Dark. A frantic midnight ride. Okay, so the story throws us right into this frantic midnight crisis. The Sahukar is suddenly awakened by his guard, Haria, who is completely panicking about thieves. So the Sahukar grabs his rifle, hops on his motorcycle, and the two of them just tear through the dark dirt roads back toward the orchard. A snake slithers across their path. An owl watches them from the branches above. It's totally cinematic. They ride straight into the pitch-black orchard. The Sahukar splits up from Haria to flank the supposed thieves, right? He's stalking through the trees, following the crunch of leaves. But then, a voice echoes out of the darkness. It's this sinister voice, asking if he even remembers who he's chasing, and the voice drops an absolutely terrifying twist. Haria couldn't possibly have brought him here tonight. Why? Because Haria quit his job 4 days ago out of sheer terror. The Sahukar looks around in absolute horror as it dawns on him. The person riding on the back of his motorcycle, the person leading him deep into these trees, was a ghost.
Utter panic sets in. The Sahukar tries to run, but the orchard has basically become this impossible maze. No matter which direction he sprints, the trees just seem to shift, and he repeatedly finds himself dumped right back in front of that dark, silent well. I want you to just pause for a second and ask yourself, what is truly waiting for him down in the depths of that black water?
So the crucial point is how this trap finally snaps shut. Section 4, the climax mechanics. Exhausted, with his heart just hammering in his chest, the Sahukar hears this maddening, echoing laugh that literally seems to scrape at the inside of his skull. He drops to the ground, blindly reaching out in the dark to find the rifle he dropped so he can defend himself. Let's walk methodically through his grim final moments here. Step 1. He feels the cold, hard shape of his gun in the pitch black and grabs it. Step 2. The gun moves. Yeah, it's not a rifle at all. It's a deadly black snake. It strikes him violently, biting him twice right in the face. Step 3. The venom immediately courses through his veins, inducing this heavy, sudden paralysis. His muscles completely lock up. And finally, Step 4. A terrifying side effect of the venom hits him. It's this overwhelming, burning, just agonizing thirst. Remember Lajawanti's prayer to the poison drinker? It has literally manifested in his veins. Section 5. The horrific secret revealed. The root of the rage. As the Sahukar lies completely paralyzed in the dirt, fighting for every single breath, the shadows finally part. That terrifying flashback that has been haunting this entire orchard is uncovered at last, and we finally see the true, devastating root of all this supernatural rage. Turns out, sometime in the past, Lajwanti's 7-year-old child had wandered into the orchard and picked up a single mango. Just one. Well, the Sahukar caught him, and ignoring the mother's desperate, heartbreaking pleas, he brutally beat the small child with a heavy stick, mocking him, screaming, "Want to eat mangoes? I won't even let you have the pits." The child actually died from the beating, and the Sahukar callously threw the boy's body into the well. And it gets worse. When they pulled the drowned child out the next day, the Sahukar leaned right into the grieving mother's ear and whispered that if she went to the police, her husband's corpse would be found in that exact same well. This entire haunting, all of it, was the spirit of a murdered 7-year-old boy relentlessly protecting the mangoes that cost him his life. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the absolute masterclass in poetic justice we see unfolding here. The Sahukar's obsession with his wealth, his violent hoarding of his mangoes, it literally became his executioner. Every single element of his crime has circled back to completely mirror his punishment. Let's just compare the past and the present for a second. In the past, the Sahukar stood tall, right? He held all the power, brutally denying a helpless, dying child life over a simple piece of fruit. And in the present, the Sahukar is reduced to extreme, paralyzed helplessness. Foam is spilling from his mouth. He is dying of this intense, burning thirst, slowly dragging his unmoving body through the dirt, excruciatingly close to his own overflowing well. But he just can't reach it. As his vision begins to fade, he looks up at the edge of the well. And sitting right there is the ghost of the little boy he murdered. The child looks down at the dying, thirsty man, laughs this booming, echoing laugh, and delivers his final haunting mockery. "You are the owner of the well. Drink as much water as you want." The Sahukar dies right there in the dirt, consumed by the very poison and greed he released into the world. It really leaves us with a heavy, chilling thought to chew on. If our deepest cruelties were to wait for us in the dark, what shape would they take? Think about that, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.